Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger. And my friends, we got some very welcome and refreshing news on the Street Fighter 6 front for you today, and this comes to you by Capcom TV. Now, normally on the corporate Japanese streams for like whatever company it may be, they're usually barely disguised advertising streams. Like, they're here to sell you merch, they're here to sell you shirts, all sorts of gimmicks and gigas. But this time around, we got some actual pertinent and important news about Street Fighter 6. No, it's not the next DLC or anything like that. That'll happen, sure, but that's further down the road. But it's about balance patches and balance patch updates. Street Fighter 6 infamously only had the one major balance patch for year one of the game. We just had it. You know, it's a pretty big deal, admittedly. Admittedly, it's a very big deal. But myself, among many others, kind of hope for the frequency to be a bit more than what it was. So here you're looking at Takayuki Nakayama, who is the game director for Street Fighter 6, and this is some Google, auto translation. Not necessarily perfect, but I'll give you a better translation in a moment. But what's being stated is basically that the big balance patch drought is over. Season 2, whatever form it may take, will not just be, here's the one patch we just got, and then, okay, see ya May next year. A more accurate translation from our friends over at Event Hubs, Nakayama states, not just new characters, but big balance patches as well in regards to Season 2. We did a big one yearly, but we're planning on doing a little more of them just bit by bit for the next year. That's what we're thinking. And that's truly fantastic. That's kind of the way to go. I've always been very critical of the one patch a year philosophy. I don't agree with it. And I don't think it was a success, honestly. Like, yes, we have the patch now. We're all happy, sure. But how many of you listening right now are only caring about Street Fighter because of Akuma or the patch itself, right? You probably fell off somewhere along the way. And that's plenty okay. That's how gaming works. You don't got to be on the game forever. But it is multi-layered. I don't think there should be too many patches, because that kind of ruins the integrity of the competitive scene. But also, too little patches kind of also ruins the integrity of the competitive scene too. One dominant character or one dominant meta strategy just kind of takes hold, that's it. Like, it's not going to change, right? I think more frequent patching is good, both for the competitive scene. Once again, not too many, but just, if problems arise or if one character's too dominant or one thing just is too boring to play or watch, that should be tweaked. But also, just for the casual player, patches bring interest back. As a company, we want people to keep returning to the game, keep playing the game, keep buying DLC, which they can't do if they're checked out. Like, hey, when I do a patch video, people are interested. It gets more views than I normally get on a video, because, frankly, interest is higher at these kind of times. A patch is more than just game balance. It can also be a marketing event, which is what I think they're gonna do. If we have more balance patches, then obviously we're gonna have more DLC characters, spoiler, right? It's a good idea that with the launch of every DLC character, maybe we get a smaller scale balance patch. Not as big as obviously the one we just had, that's too much. But like, say that Ed patch where we just had a few small tweaks. Okay, this character is underperforming competitively, lower win rate than normal. Okay, let's give a couple buffs, a couple tweaks, see how it works, and then we'll wait a couple months and then go from there. I think that's a good and healthy way to go about it. Maybe you don't agree, but that's my current thought. But what I do know is, although we're happy we have the patch now, people just were not having it. People did not like the one patch a year thing. It's easy to say you backed it now that we had the patch, but I've seen interest completely drop off, and it's only now that many people are coming back to Street Fighter 6. So hopefully with more patches coming in the future, we don't know how many, but at least more than one, player interest, player retention, all that kind of stuff, you can keep that up better. Also, not having like a 5-month gap or 6-month gap, whatever it was, between DLC, like between Aki and Ed, that would be a good thing too, right? Hopefully we space the DLC a little bit better or have even more DLC. But my friends, that's the news as it stands. So we don't know the exact frequency, but there will be more than one balance patch a year for Street Fighter 6 Season 2. And for a lot of you, I know that's cause for rejoicing. So that's why I want to make a video about it. That all said, that is the video though, so thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.